Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Soul Legacy TV podcast and radio show with me, Iona, founder of the Soul Legacy movement. So I am your host for the Cheers to Financial Freedom Frequency Tele-Chat series for soul guided entrepreneurs. So I'm going to be featuring legendary light leaders in each of my episodes. And I've got two legendary light leaders here with me today who I will introduce in just a second. So we're excited to share with you not only soul path alignment gifts, but shifts. And also we're known for breaking down the barriers and busting through the myths. So having some raw and real conversations is what we are about today to help you align your light work, your lifestyle, and your world life and do it with ease, grace, and flow. So everything that we mention in today's show will be down below in the show notes. If you are watching on Soul Legacy TV, feel free to comment. If you're watching on the page or in the group, do comment, ask your questions, and we'll get back to them at the end of the show. All right, so you can hashtag conversations with Iona, hashtag Soul Legacy TV. Please do share this out because we are excited to get this movement underway. So welcome, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Gina. So what I'll do is give you an introduction. So Wendy, I'll go to you first. So before we share our gifts, I want to introduce Wendy because I'll give the story of how we met in just a second. So Wendy is a renowned mentor and coach working with female solo entrepreneurs, speakers, authors, and experts like yourself. So Wendy helps her clients engage with a wide online audience to level up their business and their life quickly and align that. And she is, she's had about 10 years of experience. And today I'm like, oh, it's been 2 years, two weeks till since the last episode. I'm nervous. So she's been featured online and offline and in print. And she is the go-to source for journalists writing about creation of premium signature programs. So thank you, Wendy, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So where are you tuning in from, Wendy?
Well, today I'm tuning in from, this is a cocktail. It isn't alcohol. It is a watermelon shake. I'm in Thailand.
Awesome. We'll come to you in just a second, Gina. Wendy, can you share with us how your journey has unfolded, how your stories unfolded, and also how we met? I'll share that in just a second.
Yeah, sure. I guess the first thing I have to tell you is that I'm not a woo. I'm what I'm called a little bit of a woo.
Okay.
So if you have people in your audience who are a little bit woo but not full on woo,
that's you.
On that's me.
All right.
So I guess when we talk about woo, I have had quite a traumatic upbringing. So I've lived my life very much in the dark.
Yes.
And I came into the business because I'm dyslexic. I was fed up of people, I never felt like I fitted in. So I always felt like the odd one in the crowd at work. And I was just sick of it. So I thought, I'll start a business, as you do. And what happened was I really struggled in the business for about 8 years. Really, really struggled. Hit about 10K a month consistently for like 8 years. Bizarre. And what I discovered was that my relationship with money absolutely stank. And that went right back to when I was a kid, when I was growing up, coming from a place of lack. So that's what's brought me into creating a business around that helps women not only share their message and make a bigger impact, but it's also about how they let go of those money stories and beliefs that they hold so they can have a bigger shift in their business and ultimately their life.
I love it. Thank you. Hopefully we're not getting feedback from anyone. Guys, let us know how the sound is. I love that your story, and I'm sure that you can relate as well, Gina. So I'll give you an introduction in just a second. So Wendy, we met, and we weren't like I've been woo-woo, but this is woo-woo. So as my journey unfolded, from us meeting and doing speaking online, but we both were in the energy of that really wasn't like that forcing and that pushing, right? We weren't aligned with how the industry norm goes. So we kind of found our own way, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So Gina, I'll give you an introduction. So Gina is a high performance coach for heart-centered women. So that's heart-centered. You're heart-centered, right, Wendy? So Gina was sleeping on her ex-boyfriend's floor in 2014. So that's not that long ago, when she generated her first 30K sales week by showing heart-centered women how to monetize their passions. So you will be able to join what Gina calls the rags to riches movement and never worry about money again. So welcome, Gina, after that introduction.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So let us know, Gina, how your story has unfolded, how you came to be on the floor. And for me, I've been homeless and I've been there. I'm sure we've all had our dark moments that have led to be this catalyst, and we'll share how we met as well. But yeah, do share your story.
Sure. Thank you. And I love the word woo-woo. I love using that word. It's just fun. And I like Wendy's introduction. So thank you for that too. So I would describe myself as more woo-woo in the closet. So I always was, I should say. I always was growing up. I had a mother and a grandmother. I grew up in a huge Italian family, first of all. And so they were very loud and very physical world based. And, but I had a mom and a grandmother who were very spiritual women. So whenever I was always very sensitive, more sensitive than my cousins and the rest of my family. And so my mom and my grandma would often take me to nature. And so that's where I felt I could be my full woo self, if we were going to call it that. And that's where I could find my grounding and my energy. But it took me 40 years to get to the point where I could come out of the woo closet and join that with my money. And that's where that week came in. And as we often find, when we're in the dark and when we're in those rock bottom spots, that's when our greatest light can shine through too. Especially for me, what happened when I was sleeping on my ex-boyfriend's floor is that I was able to reach for that. And I had to, in a way, because I was in a situation where I did. So basically I was engaged right before that. And I received a phone call saying that the engagement was over, and he was in LA at the time. And so I had rented my suite out, and we were staying with friends so that we could come back and forth from LA. And we were just waiting for the paperwork to come through for the marriage, and from the lawyers. And yeah, and so I received a call. And so that's why I ended up on my ex-boyfriend's floor, because the engagement had dissolved, and then I was looking for a place to stay. So it's kind of furiously just emailing everybody, like, does anybody have a place to stay? Because I was planning on moving to LA. So I was staying on my ex-boyfriend's floor. He offered me a room, and it was his daughter. He has 2 daughters, and it was their art room. And he had said, we could set up a bed for you if you want. You know, he was very hospitable, but I had said, no, I'm not going to be here long. It's just a temporary situation. Yeah. And so I ended up staying for 3 months, and I created my $30,000 week out of just constant connection with nature, constant tuning in. And I really felt, a weird thing about rock bottom is I really felt like I could reach into my inner resources, reach in for them, and just be my full self and come out of that woo closet. And that's when everything started to work. So
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that you have the amazing man and you live in the forest now, so everything worked out fine. And that catalyst. And sometimes when there's a chapter of our life that looks like, oh, well, it should have worked out, and I wish it had done this, and I had this dream, and we're not okay with letting it go. There's some resistance. Then you don't travel on your soul path as easily. But you've just said, when you hit your rock bottom, actually you can turn that into your wisdom and turn that into your goal, turn that breakdown into your breakthrough. And that for me is one of the biggest things that I want to share on the Soul Legacy movement is that we think that everybody else's life, everybody else has got it figured out, everybody else's journey is perfect. It's step by step and painting numbers, and it's not necessarily. I don't know if it is for you guys, let us know, right? But it wasn't for me. I hit my rock bottom and some. So I love that you guys share so openly. Thank you. So what we will do, and I know that the gifts that we get, we give, right? And sometimes when we are in resistance and we don't, and we say, well, I'm just going to create what I think everybody wants, rather than creating from that heart space. So I know that you guys have dug deep and actually gone through the processes that you're sharing today. So Wendy, I'm going to come to your gift. I'll introduce it, and then we'll have a conversation. So guys, if you want Wendy's gifts, which I'm sure you will, then it is down below in the show notes or in the description around this episode. So it is a download. It's a free money personality assessment. So if you're ready to get rid of your unconscious money blocks, because although they're unconscious, they're playing out in your life, right? So, and start afresh on the path of creating freedom and independence and a healthy relationship with money, grab that. So Wendy, do share when our guys go through this, what it is, the process. And I did this yesterday, guys. So I'm learning and taking notes.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't my work.
Yes.
So, you know, when you download it, don't be surprised that it's from a gorgeous woman called Kendall. But
I love her. I love her.
I mean, her work had such an impact on me and has allowed me to just, you know, step into my full potential. So why not share it? My gift is really about being able to interpret.
Yeah,
that's
that word.
Yeah, a reading. So it's called a money personality reading, and basically, if you look at money as a personality, it has lots of characteristics. Why am I picking these words?
I don't know. You're getting it from me. It's like, oh, it's exciting.
Our relationship with money is complicated. Right. So we have predominant personalities that we fall into with money. So let me just give you a quick example. Okay. My money personality, we home in on the top money personalities. So I'm accumulator, which is known as your inner banker. Now, that's great. We are brilliant with money, but we are terrified of spending it. So if we're going to go on the dark side of the light and the dark, the light is that you're really good with money, but the dark side is that actually you're petrified of letting it go. Right. The alchemist, I also am, like you, Iona, and we are really good at coming up with ideas to bring money in. But on the flip side of that, we will put other people before ourselves. We will champion other people before ourselves. So the light is that we can create the money, but actually the other side of that, if we swing into it too heavily, is that we put other people before ourselves. Yeah. And my third one is the celebrity, which is an interesting one. She loves to be noticed in a crowd, but the flip side of that is that, you know, she'll buy things, so it's filling a gap of confidence or self-worth. Now, the trick is to be aware of your many personalities and to play into the light and have all three balance out playing together, rather than, so in the past, I would be heavily in my accumulator. Fear, save, no money, lack. Yes. My accumulator was dominating my relationship with money, having a real negative effect on it. Now I know, actually, that's a common trait for accumulator. I can put it to bed and address it very differently. I'm not saying it doesn't come up when I'm feeling lack. It does, but I now have a different way of managing it. So the assessment, sorry, hun, did you just, I just saw
the perceiving it. No, I was like, a different way of seeing it.
Yeah. The assessment is to really help you pull out your dominant personalities around money and then help you to move from one space to the other.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, very powerful.
Thank you. So I went through it. So guys, I walk my talk and I practice what I preach. And I wouldn't say go and download something that I hadn't seen or hadn't experienced before. And I love Kendall Summerhawk's work. I really do. And VIP days and all that stuff I've gone through her work, and I'm sure that you guys are familiar. So if you love that, not only are you sharing that space to go through something with us as a collective, but you're identifying actually my path can be more aligned. I can swing this way or swing that way, but whichever way I'm going, I'm going to notice that is the personality type that you're resonating with more so in whatever situation you're in. So different triggers, different situations, you might play a role in your work, you might play a role in your home life, and just, step into that money personality type at different points and react. Whereas if it's not serving you, you can then tap into the other essences of your money personality types, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what's really interesting is all of the women that I work with, and this is really fascinating, have nurturer and connector in their top 3 archetypes. And I don't have a nurturer or a connector in my top 3 archetypes, which I think is absolutely fascinating.
I do. So we go through, there's groups, and then you go through, it takes a little bit of time to go through it and to score but it's worth it in the sense of, it's not, when you have money blocks and you don't want to have money conversations, we need money, financial freedom frequency, right? That raises your vibration around money. Gina and I were having a conversation yesterday about money in her group, and her audience are very much in alignment with that. So I think you guys will love it. And so I was joined in 2 of them. So I was like, okay, I don't know, that's just me. That's my personality to be in alignment. But I had the connector and the alchemy. And what else did I have? Maverick. Yeah. And so
risk taker.
I do. And I just think, okay, I'm going to go for it. And sometimes I fall and I scrape my nose and I bounce back up and I go, ta-da! And sometimes it's like worth that risk. I believe in life, and I probably more so have tapped into that. And I think these money personality types, depending on the cycle of life that you're in, where they'll apply, right? Because you grow and you learn. I know that your audience is more, well, I'm 46, you're 50 now, right? So it's, as you get older, you start to be okay with, okay, I'm going to own my shit, right? I'm just going to own it. This is what happened. It doesn't have to continue happening. I can say that it's my show, right? So it doesn't have to continue happening. What am I going to do about it? 1, I'm going to reach out. And 2, I'm going to go with someone who's been through it and walks her clients and their students through that. And I love that you do that. Thank you, Wendy. So Gina, let me introduce your gift. So I've got notes, guys, and I've literally taken notes about each gift. I love it. I love the shifts that come from it, but then we can have a conversation about it. Rather than just sending you on a list and say, go and grab it. We want to know how you find it. So Gina's gift is called Claim Your How To Now free training to shift from exhausting to-do lists, right, into feel-good soul strategy that generates wealth today. I love it. So Gina, please share your gift. What's in there? So Gina has got not 1 but 2 gifts. So we're primarily talking about 1, but you'll see both of them, right? Because you've got kind of 2 different avenues that you like to explore life from. So do share.
Sure. Yes. Okay. So my How to Now training, I'm really passionate about, as I was saying, connecting that place between woo-woo and people who have that and want that connection and are drawn to their soul connection, and bringing that out into the world. And then all of the knowledge that we hear out there and the training that we hear out there in what we call the 3D world, which is the physical plane, which is, the trainings of, well, how? The question always comes up, how? How am I going to do that? How am I going to create a $30,000 week? How am I going to get to $10,000 months, right? Consistently. How? And that's part of the equation. But what I like to do is bring people into the now, because what I've found that works for myself and my clients doing this work for 10 years is that the strategy piece and the how piece is more like 20% or less of what the work actually is. So coming into the now and learning how to connect with your intuition and that part of you, that woo-woo beautiful
part of you. Wendy does this. She's woo-woo in denial, right? Or just a woo.
I'm in the closet.
She literally is. She is.
I'm like hiding.
She is. When you guys hear her lives and her trainings and stuff, you'll get it.
Oh, I love how she said, did you say little woo? I love that.
Yeah,
she did say little woo.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I grew up in a huge Italian family, and they weren't woo, and they weren't openly woo, except for my grandmother and my mom would take me, and I was a little woo, I guess, at the time, coming out and blossoming as well. But so this is my passion. So this is a free training to bring you on that journey. And really, I find, and I've had the feedback that my trainings are very intense because I believe in immersion. Yeah. And I believe in immersing yourself in the new energy that you're wanting to become. And so when I deliver these trainings, I really show you and bring you into the energy of being in the now and being in your highest self, which is a sweet spot between the two. You know, we are physical flesh beings, and having that woo-woo energy coursing through our veins and shining our light, shining out into the world. So
definitely. I love in that you talk about that pushing, that aggressive energy, and not everybody resonates with that. And sometimes when you're forcing things, it's not necessarily, you don't know, it might, when you go full steam ahead, it might not be the most aligned thing. So just stopping and being present. And I love ease, grace, and flow. And we all have evolved into that space of more being, right? So Wendy's out there in Thailand, just being and traveling and making lifestyle the priority over like rushing around and working. So you work a lot less hours now, Wendy, right? And so Gina, you're out in the forest, so you'll see the lives of these guys. And I'm in the UK with a white wall. Like, what is that? so yeah, I'm coming to you. So that flow, more of that flow. So I had a calling on me for years, anyone that knows me personally, to go to Canada. My father lived out in Canada when I was younger. And so Thailand, Bar and I wanted to go to Thailand, so I planned to go out there. So yeah, so although you're around the world in different places, we can work as a collective, we can connect as a collective. So I love that you talk about that empowered energy and following your, what you call your GPS, like that guidance. So wherever we are in the world, we'll connect with the collective, like our clients are around the world, our students around the world, just coming together as a collective rather than just being individual on our own and thinking we've got to figure this out alone. I love that we can come together and have just a conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So for any of you guys who are thinking, oh, you know, I'd love more balance and I'd love to have more family time, because that's one of the things that you guys love, isn't it? Family time with your men. And I like family time with my man as well. It's so important to get the things figured out, but do it in a way that feels flowy. So Gina, can you talk about your second gift? The reason why I want to talk about that is because I'm writing the book, The Intentional Living Codes. Wendy, I don't know if you have a book inside of you, but most people do. And that's, do you not feel like you have a book inside of you, Wendy?
I'm just like,
well, so
I'm sure I've got lots of books, but
you're not going to tell them what. So Wendy's, you have dyslexia, right? And I have Erlen and dyslexia. So it's not something that we would go, yeah. So I've been talking about this book, The Intentional Living Codes, and that's where the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency comes from. For those of you who don't know, we're talking about contribution freedom and health freedom and emotional freedom and environmental freedom, which you guys just, you know, really do show, and relationships and spiritual and financial freedom. That's why we go with all of the spheres of life. Do you know what I mean? So you guys coming together in a collective and having that energy, you really do add to a high vibe conversation, right? I love it. So I'm going to wrap up today's show. And if you are in the Soul Legacy movement, then do comment. I'm sure that Wendy and Gina will answer any questions that you do have. If you're on the Soul Legacy TV, the YouTube, or on the page, again, just tag me, tag Wendy, tag Gina, because we're here to continue on the conversation and support you. They both do have amazing groups, which I am in. When you grab the free groups, I'm sure you'll be directed over to their communities as well. So let me, I've just got some notes because I've had Wendy's on. Hang on. And if you guys have anything to add at the end of this conversation, then please feel free to. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed today. I want to respect your time, but I want to also leave you with a few words. Not everybody knows why the Soul Legacy TV has come about, and some of you might have seen episode 1. If you haven't, that kind of gives my story there. But hopefully you'll have taken just one thing away, and that will help you in supporting your soul path alignment, as I call it. We do have an after show to continue on the conversation. There will be links down below. For me, traveling on my journey, I feel blessed to support soul-guided entrepreneurs to manifest and maintain soul client income, soul family influence, and soul tribe impact. And I'm really passionate about helping you to start a movement with your message and banking 50K in 50 days, because we're talking about Cheers to Financial Freedom. So my gift is the Soul Legacy School Soul Path Alignment. It's a masterclass. You can watch it on replay, and you can also watch it live with me at the end of this season. So the Soul Legacy TV, we're paying tribute to all the lives that we touch now, and all the lives that have come before and that will continue, the people that are no longer with us, and the people that will come into our lives, people that were born, family as we expand. And we want to pay tribute, because sometimes when you're in kind of midlife, like we all are, you turn around and you go, what have I done with my life? Where am I now? What would I like to do with my life? And you have a choice to choose how you create it, even when life seems to throw you things that you don't feel like you can move through without struggle. So I am inviting you to join me in traveling up the emotional scale, I call it. So Wendy, you might be familiar with this or not. Gina, I know that you will be. So when we are vibrating at a lower vibrational frequency, for me, it was grief and fear. We're not manifesting and attracting all the things that we really want into our life with ease, grace, and flow. And when we move up the emotional scale, we move into love and freedom. And that's how we really manifest the life that we want to have. So I say, it is about freedom. It is about what freedom means to you. Freedom to me might mean something different to you, but we invite you on the Cheers to Financial Freedom path. So I say this, right? You can binge watch on Wednesdays with us. We have episodes at 9 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. UK time. So I say, remember to turn your wounds into wisdom. So you've heard us, we've shared our wounds, and we've drawn wisdom from them. I say, don't be a wounded light worker. I dare you to be legend. # legendary light leaders. So guys, if you have anything else to add before we hop off, you can go first, Gina, if you like.
Sure, yeah. Just a note about that second gift quickly. I didn't mention, but it's for people who are ready to tell their story, and who it's about removing the time and money obstacles when it comes to telling your story and finishing a book. So that's what the second gift is. It's a little bonus gift. And it's to become legendary, like you're saying, and to really own it and be in your story. And also I feel that telling a story through a book really helps you to get grounded and understand the different levels that you're
Sorry, I apologize if I went off on a tangent. I did want to share that, because I think most people have got a book inside of them, so I really appreciate you sharing that. And Wendy, do you have anything to add to the conversation? Thank you for joining me.
I think it's just beautiful that we can shift, grow, what we think is real isn't really that real, that we can move beyond it. And I wish I'd learnt this stuff earlier, you know, not 50 years down the road.
I know. I'm 46.
I wish I'd been earlier.
Yeah. So Gina, we're all around the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm 44. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it is that when you come into, and so we were where we were. But when you can then lean back and say, do you know what? If I can make your road a little bit smoother, then here's that gift. And so it doesn't matter what age you are, but the experiences, and it is about owning it. And it is about coming out from behind closed doors. It is so easy to be behind closed doors thinking it's just you, and it's not. That is one of the biggest things that I want to say. And the ladies are like, It's hard as a collective to say, do you know what? This is me. This is me. This is who I am. This is where I'm at. And there's too many people behind closed doors sat on lists, like passively.
Yeah.
And that's why it's about building a legacy. We're sharing our journey with you so you can in turn enhance your life and your family and your loved ones, and we can have that ripple effect out in the world, right? I'm excited. I can't believe I was so nervous on this show. Oh, it's just been amazing. Thank you for joining me. Do, post anything that you like under this over in the group. I've loved it. Thank you so much. Guys, I shall speak to you soon. Take care.
Nice to meet you, Gina.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Bye. Bye. Blessings.